Hi everyone, Lauren Ansley here coming at you from Beerly Funny. I am a stand-up comedian based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Beerly Funny is my comedy show production company. So Beerly Funny launched last June, and I decided to go full-time last fall, which seemed like a great idea at the time. Since then, recently things have gotten a little weird. So because Beerly Funny does stand-up comedy show production and there's no stand-up comedy live shows going on right now, we still wanted to deliver quality comedic content to you. So if I could back up for a second, Beerly Funny exists for three reasons. So first reason is to create moments of joy and laughter. That's what we're really passionate about, and we believe in the need and the quality of entertainment to entertain people. So we're really passionate about that. Also, we want to support local businesses. So when we do have live comedy shows, we are at venues, restaurants, bars, breweries that bring in people and have amazing moments together and comedy shows. The third reason is to help elevate comedy as an art form. I truly believe the easier comedy looks, the harder that performer has worked to perfect it. So stand-up comedy, I believe, really is an art form. It's one of probably the least respected art forms because it's you with a microphone trying to make people laugh and be entertained. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of writing, and it's truly a skill. And I have a lot of respect for these performers that do what they do and have a passion for it and really want to make people smile and laugh. So we are here delivering showpisodes to you during this interesting time in our lives. Showpisode is part comedy show, part episode, showpisode. So we are interviewing comedians and people who are fans of comedy and just kind of talking about the art. Some natural comedy kind of just ebbs through the conversation. But I hope you all enjoy. I do have to let you all know I've had a little bit of trouble recording and producing the shows through the medium that I used last time. So please work with me if there's some bumps in the road as we put this content out there. But thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And we are also doing virtual tips. So a lot of these performers do comedy as a way of either primary income or additional income, and so we are providing all of this content for free. But if you'd like to make a virtual tip to support the show and our performers, please feel free to do so with a virtual tip. We certainly appreciate any amount from $1 up to $1 million. We're not going to be picky. But if you want to support the show and you want to, we are doing a tip share with all the performers on the show. You can go to Venmo Beerly Funny, or you can also support us through PayPal, and that email through PayPal is beerlyfunny@gmail.com. So again, Venmo Beerly Funny or PayPal beerlyfunny@gmail.com. So tonight we have 3 performers that we are interviewing. We are interviewing a show producer and comedian, and 2 comedians, all based in North Carolina, and I hope that you enjoy. Also, one of the ways we support local businesses is while we can't have shows there, I do want to promote our venue partners, and one of our venue partners that I'd like to highlight tonight is The Craft Stand, which is a tap room based in Lancaster, South Carolina. Our first show was actually going to be April Fool's Day there, but joke's on us. We're not able to have the show. It's been postponed. We can't wait to bring comedy to Lancaster, South Carolina with Beerly Funny. And our feature performer on that show is going to be Bo Alambus, and he's actually on our show tonight. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the conversations. I hope you all enjoy. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hello, everyone. We are here with Minda Rella on a very special show. Minda, looks like you are somewhere with a bridge behind you.
Yeah, I'm COVID traveling, COVID-19 Airlines.
Love it. So Minda, we originally connected because you are actually a comedian and a show producer as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, I run 910 Comedy based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I wanted you on my show because you were very funny.
Oh, thank you. Well, I had a blast. It was a beautiful venue. You have actually several venues that you work with up in the Fayetteville area, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah, that's the one that you were at, Dirtbag Gals, is my big one, and they're a brewery. So they're my, not to take from you, but like you've got your Beerly Funny. They're my Beerly folks. If I was going to have something like that, we love them. They're good to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the royal
really
we.
cool.
Good to me.
Yeah.
So, and I also have podcasts, which you were a guest on.
Yes. Tell us about that. And tell us why
I
you have this podcast. Tell us your whole background, because it's fascinating.
Look how excited you are for dead people. So I have a podcast called Dead Girls Talking with my friend Christy Howard, because we're both, my day job, I'm a mortician. It's out there. I said it. Lauren was so excited for me to tell you guys that I'm a mortician. So I work at the only mortuary school in the state of North Carolina, and my friend, my assistant, and my friend, she's also a comedian as well. So we're like, someone told, she was on, I have another smaller podcast called That's Just My Face, and she came on to guest with us, and that's more comedy based. And someone heard that show and like, it'd be great is if you and her did like a mortician thing. And I was like, oh, yes, that would be great. And it's gotten crazy, man. Like people love it. So we get mail from all over the world, and we've only been kicking around since December.
That's amazing. You've got a lot of followers, and
we do.
It's a cool podcast.
It's a cool, thank you. I appreciate that. And you were a guest on our show. Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to hear Lauren ask us dead people questions, please download the show.
Hey, I'm dying to come back.
Okay. Lauren, you want to crack open a cold one? I can just go on.
You hear them all. I know you do.
Yes, I do. Although right now we are in the throes of a pandemic, which is why we're doing this show, I'm assuming. And so it's really been hopping in the funeral world at the moment, unfortunately.
Now, you referred to yourselves as not first responders, but...
I'm a last responder, and I'm not getting any discounts from Chipotle, so I'm going to write a strongly worded tweet about that. Chipotle. I even have a sticker on the back of my car with a casket that says last responder, and everybody moves. I don't know if they move because of my driving, though, because that's pretty terrible, too. I was driving the hearse last week because I worked a funeral, and I drive normally a tiny little Toyota Yaris that I zip around in. And to go from that to driving the hearse is not conducive to my driving habits, because that thing does not stop on a dime. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So.
I really enjoyed being on your podcast. You answered a lot of questions that, well, you probably, get these questions all the time, but just things people don't think about. And honestly, people are probably a little uncomfortable talking about them or thinking about them, but it's a part of life, right? Well, the end of it.
It's part of the life cycle, and people are morbidly fascinated with it. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of questions, but sometimes we get like practical questions. And right before the last episode, my buddy that helps me with 910 Comedy, he was asking me legit questions, and not but a week later, his father-in-law suddenly passed away from a heart attack. So they were more prepared legally, like they knew what to do because, we'd had this discussion. So it was helpful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People should prepare for that. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah. It's kind of an uncomfortable thing.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
It is.
I get it. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how are you what is something that you do to keep yourself calm and cool and collected and just kind of like de-stress from your day? Or
oh, well, I'm pretty stoic in general. So I get more worked up about paperwork than I do like the actual decedent, because I can go and like, it's calming if you go, this is going to make me sound very weird, but when you go into the prep room and you're working on a case, it's, what to do. But when you're in with the family, there's a lot of emotion happening or making arrangements. That's a big situation. So it's almost easier to do that. As far as, keeping level, I do comedy. Mm-hmm. Which pays not a lot, as you know.
I know. So how did you decide that comedy was going to be your outlet? Because you're also on a radio station as well.
I am a DJ. Yep. I do a lot of stuff. And I've got 2 kids. So
oh my gosh.
I didn't decide to do comedy. I was invited because I used to do heavy pinup modeling, like a lot of pinup modeling. And there was an open mic here, and someone told me and my friend, oh, you should get all in pinup and go get on stage to promote the shop, because my friend had a pinup shop, And so we went and it was terrible, but I was less terrible. And so the guy who ran the show was like, you should come back. Cause I'm conversationally funny. Cause I grew up in a funny household, you know, like to get by, you have to be funny. And so I did it a couple times and I get, you know, people who are naturally funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talk funny because I'm very dry. And this is not me. There are things I'll say and I'm not trying to be funny and people start laughing and I'm like, and it's because I don't like stop. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is what is happening right now. And sometimes it's ridiculously absurd, but I guess it's just the way that I talk. I don't know.
Yeah. So when I did your show, you emceed us. I didn't get to see you do a lot of stand-up yourself because you just kind of you brought up the comedians. So I'm looking forward to seeing you do some stand-up. So how would you describe your style or your influences for the comedy part?
Oh, like people, like comics that have influenced me through the ages.
Yeah.
I sound like Janine Garofalo. Like I've heard that a lot.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, okay. I've heard that a lot because I'm very dry. And so like, I'll do a joke for you, Lauren, if you want a free joke for your show. Because you're putting a tip jar out, right? This will be my thing for Barely Funny. Okay. So as a mortician, people come up to you all the time and they tell you how they want to be buried, even though you're not going to be the one in charge of their arrangements. People just want to get it off their chest. Like, oh, this person will listen. So it's like, oh, I would like a black, you know, a carriage with horses dragging my casket. It's very Cinderella, a lot of these girls. And then, but I had this one guy tell me, I want a clear casket. And I was like, what, like remains to be seen? Is that what we're doing here? I want a clear casket. I want to be completely naked. And I want a ton of tissue filler injected into my penis. And I was like, okay, so you want a clear casket, naked, huge penis on display? He's like, yes, absolutely. And he goes on and on, making sure I get the details correct every single time. Clear casket, naked, giant penis. Clear casket, naked, giant penis. Finally, I'm like, Dad, I get it. I understand what you want for your funeral.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's good. I love it.
Thank you. But sadly, true story. So
for real.
No.
That's the stoic.
But once he's gone,
has he heard this joke? Has he heard the joke?
Yeah. I think he has. Yeah, I think he has. My family disregards the shit that I say. Are we allowed to cuss on your show? I'm sorry. A little bit.
PG-13. Yeah.
PG-13. Okay, that's my one shot. That's my one right there. Yeah,
you get one. You get one, Linda.
I got it. Thank you. So yeah, I don't do a lot. I do some stand-up, but like you said, I do a lot of the emceeing because I'm the show producer and the host a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that takes a lot of time. So I think that's what they tell you, that emceeing is like the hardest job of the show because you're keeping the time, you're coordinating the comedians, you're getting up there between everyone, so you're on the stage multiple times. But in our cases, hosting as well as producing the behind the scenes, we're worried about all these other things going on in our head. So it can be a challenge to do material sometimes, or to come up with fresh material every time.
I don't know about with you. I have to come up with fresh material in between each comic because I like to play off each comic.
Yeah.
Like at your show, the comic before you had gone, and it was kind of rough. And if you recall, when he got off stage, everybody was mildly uncomfortable. And I was like, that was a weird TED Talk, huh?
Where's the joke?
Yeah. And so.
But you were perfect because you reset the room. And that is also the job of the MC, is resetting that energy.
Right. Right. And so as a DJ, you kind of have to do, on the radio, you have to do that because you have to be different every single day, which is different from stand-up. In stand-up, you can get up there, you can perfect your set every time. But I'm on the air 7 days a week on 95.7. So I can't be too stale too many days in a row. But right now, everybody just wants to talk about the coronavirus. Like, come on, give me a break. But, we got to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what we're here for, because, live comedy shows are on pause. And I'm trying to see the bright side of it, because it also does help us with these kind of behind the scenes conversations, because I personally find comedy fascinating. I know that the feedback that I got on the first show that has already filmed was people were like, I want more information, and I just want more backstory. So just people are fascinated by it, you know. It's also the
Yeah.
biggest fear. So you're handling both, because like the biggest fear is talking in
Death and
public
public speaking.
and
Yep.
death, and that's like they're both up there, and you're right in both of them. You're a pro.
Yeah, I don't like monkeys. Like, I'm fine with death and I'm fine with public speaking, but I really don't care for monkeys. So
That's your thing. That's your fear.
that's my thing. If this current pandemic was monkey fecal adjacent, that would be like my nightmare. So thankfully, I'm gonna just coast right through this just fine.
Yeah, coast. Yeah. Well, be safe. Be safe. I do
Thank you.
actually. I have some questions in here. Are you okay with me
Oh.
pulling out a random question, getting you on the spot a little bit?
Wow. Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is a good one for you.
Oh gosh, Grandma, listen to that.
Did you have any nicknames growing up, or do you have any now?
I did not have any nicknames really growing up because my name is very unusual. Like, my name is Minda. That's the whole beginning and end of that name. I don't know that I have any now. Andy, I go by Andy on the radio. Like, one of my personas is on that, but I have things that I'm famous for otherwise. Like my friend Jeremiah calls me a corgi because I'm short and I'm got a lot of energy.
Corgi?
Yeah.
Like the dog?
Yeah, like the dog. It's really endearing. Yeah.
They are adorable, though. They are very cute.
Yeah, they bite.
Okay, you want to do one more?
Sure, you can do this all day, Lauren. I'm quarantined, so you know.
Oh, I like this one too. Any food you don't eat.
Eggplant. Do not. Ugh, with eggplant.
Really? Why is it eggplant?
It's disgusting. I don't know. It's a terrible, terrible abomination of a vegetable. Don't understand it.
Is it your favorite emoji though? For real, let's be honest.
It's mostly it's used, but it's used in like a derogatory manner. Yeah.
For me, if I had to answer that question, mine would be black-eyed peas. I hate them. They're disgusting. I got sick on them one time. I don't.
Really? Don't do Fergie like that.
No. I'm okay with the music, but the food, it's just gross to me. Can't.
Really? Where did you grow? Oh, you grew up in North Carolina, so you don't have like it. Because I grew up in Florida.
Yeah.
And poor, so we had the beans.
Well, we did not grow up rich by any means. I grew up in South Carolina, but my grandmother, I think it was like New Year's Day or something, and she and my dad both like force fed me black-eyed peas, and I got sick. And unfortunately, that is not the case for tequila, which should also, if you're following the same trajectory. But no.
You're like, no, keep bringing it. We're gonna give it one more chance.
Maybe it wasn't the tequila. Maybe it was something else. Let's just see.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, okay, Minda, give us your socials so people can follow you, hit up like your
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. So please follow 910 Comedy. First of all, that is our umbrella over everything. And then under that, I have Dead Girls Talking, which is a really fun podcast about a lot of weird stuff and dead things. And you can, email us and we'll answer your questions. And we also talk about, like we just interviewed Spike Cohen, who's Vernon Supreme's VP running mate. We talk about astrology. We talk about, like I said, dead stuff, relevant. And then I have That's Just My Face, which is a comedy-based podcast. Yeah. All of those are on everything. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
And Beerly Funny and 910 Comedy have been in conversations about a project to be announced later, but
super big, like big as this bridge.
Yeah, big project underway. So I'm excited to be working with you, and thank you so much for your time, Minda. Please stay safe.
Welcome.
Thanks for what you do. It's an important service.
Oh, sure.
Not one people really like to talk about, but
right. I wish Chipotle felt the same way that you feel.
All right, well, stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye, Minda.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey everyone, Lauren Ansley back at you. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Minda. Next, we're going to have a conversation with Dusty Cagle. I just want to remind you about the virtual tips. If you are interested in contributing to help us with this show, please feel free to do so. Again, Venmo at BeerlyFunny, and PayPal is beerlyfunny@gmail.com. Next up, Dusty. Enjoy. right now I have Dusty Cagle here from,
No,
you live in Greensboro, right?
no, that's kind of my home base, but I actually live in a little place called Denton where comedy doesn't exist.
How do you spell that?
Denton.
Okay. All right.
Denton. Yeah,
Okay. I don't think that's that interesting. So let's just move on.
exactly. Yeah.
So you are a comedian, and I think we originally connected at the Idiot Box in Greensboro. I think that's where we first met. So tell me, like, how long have you been doing stand-up?
Coming up next month, it'll be 6 years.
Comedy anniversary.
I know that's where I put it. When I started comedy, I was really, really drunk, so I don't remember really what time of the year it was.
It's the
But
whole season. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was completely I was out of it. So, but around April's when I choose my birthday.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. So, one of the things I love most about your stand-up is that it's funny, which I think is great. And I actually had you on one of our really funny shows a few months back. I think it was maybe December or January. Definitely want to have you back once we start getting our shows back underway. But how would you describe like your comedy style if somebody hasn't seen you before?
The easiest way I'd put it, I like to be kind of goofy, a little whimsical. You know, I like to I like to look at science and laugh at it and be like, maybe that's true. I don't know. Let me, you know,
Okay.
just real goofy, cartoonish. That's the way I try to come off.
All right. So I know on stage you come across as a relatively bald gentleman, but it seems like that might just be your stage. Okay. Tell me about this hat. What's going on here?
Well, I have not been able to get a haircut, and now I have the bald man, too long hair look going on.
A lot of people do that already.
Yeah, and it's, in my opinion, it's very embarrassing. So I was either I wear like the Russian looking dog hat or I'm going to wear a beanie. So I went with the Russian looking dog hat.
Okay. All right. So as I'm sure a lot of people can see in the background, you've got a Rocky poster. It looks like a few other movie posters. What is that? What is that? That's not super. What is that one?
No, that is, let me look. I'm a little drunk at the moment. That's Half Baked. That was Half Baked.
You are a comedian. There's no doubt about that. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's that one? I didn't see the bottom of it. I can't tell what that one is. What is it? Oh, the Lost Boys. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got the Lost Boys. And then some bead art by Eric Trundy.
I love Eric. Hey, shout out to Eric Trundy.
That's right. Love you and I miss you, bro. Got all my systems, some stuff signed by, you guessed it, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The reason why I got into comedy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And just stuff like that. Just my little nurtuary here.
Nurtuary. I love it. I love it. So you've got a lot of movie posters, and I got to tell you that I absolutely love this bit that you do, which is all about movies. So can you tell us what that is, or can we do like set it up and then we can do a little preview of what that's like?
Yeah. Little backstory real quick. When I was a kid, I had a head injury, and ever since then, been able to remember movies really, really, really well. Everyone that I've seen, anyway. So I've tried to see them all. And I played a bit one time. I was in a competition. I was like, I'm going to lose. I'm going to have fun. I was like, give me any scary movie, and I'll tell you the whole what it's about, you know. And it went really good, so I kind of crafted it, and now it's kind of, if anything I'll be remembered for one day, it'll be that I know a lot of scary movies.
So I love that, and you actually inspired me for that style of how you do that comedy for one of my bits that I've been working on. And as we know as comedians, it takes a very long time to perfect a bit, and if you ever actually do theoretically perfect it. But I have a few that I've pulled out that I wanted to pounce on you, movie titles, and give people a flavor of what it is that you do and how funny it is. Okay.
All right. Yeah, please do.
Okay. Keep them with the theme. Signs.
Signs. All right. So this guy, he's like, hey, I'm a preacher. There's aliens. I believe in God again. Bam. There you go.
Why do you even have to waste an hour and a half or more when you can just contact Dusty Cagle to tell you the synopsis and do
Cliff
sentence?
notes.
Okay. All right. I got another one. Outbreak.
Outbreak. All right. So don't fuck with monkeys from the jungle. Bam. There you go.
Okay. That was one sentence. You're getting even better. All right. I got one more. Ready?
All right. Bring it. Bring it on.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. All right. Nazis suck. Am I right? Bam. There you go.
Nazis suck. Am I right? 3 words. That's got to be some kind of record. Oh my gosh. So when you were on our show, well, the first time I saw you do this was in Greensboro, and I was completely inspired by this. I think it went on for like a good 5 minutes. What's the longest you've ever done that bit?
I bet you I went maybe like 15 minutes one time. I was at I was in Charlotte, VisArt, which is honestly the best place for that.
Shout out
And
to VisArt.
it was just exactly VisArt, wonderful place. And it was so magical. I was like, I went from close to about 15 minutes of what I've got. I mean, I could go longer, but I'm afraid of, just lag of people like, oh, I want something different,
Have you ever not known the movie?
Oh yeah. It's happened many a times that I don't know the movie. So I'll just play around with the name of it. If the name sounds really stupid, because there's a lot of stupid sounding movies, I'll just play with the name of the movie and just kind of make up a story. And I think that's funny initially because it's like he don't know what that is,
Yeah. Well, see, that's what it is. It's all about just being in the moment, and it's very crowd work heavy, and you don't know what people are going to say. So it's really being in the moment, and that just comes from being a seasoned, almost 6-year-old comic, which is awesome.
Getting old, yeah.
So can you, you wanted me to give you your 2-minute.
Oh, yeah. Dusty practice. I don't want to run the light. I would hate to run the light in front of all our fans.
Dusty asked before we started recording, he's like, can you give me a light? So tell me about your projects. You have a few different projects that you're working on, right?
Oh yeah. The big one, I got a little company. We've been working with it. Me and Reed Pegram and Pat McLeod. It's called Attention Horse, Comedy for Nerds, and it's really nerd centric. We travel to a lot of different Comic Cons up and down the East Coast. And, we have about, I think, maybe 20 to 30 shows that we can put on at these things.
Wow.
And not just including stand-up, but roast shows where we dress up to certain characters and we roast each other, like a roast of Thanos or roast of Jason Voorhees, Harry Potter, stuff like that. And then trivia shows, all kinds of stuff. And we've been going at that hard for 3 years now.
Okay. So that's on Instagram. That's We Are Attention Horse.
Yes.
Right? Do you have a Facebook page for that as well?
Yeah, Facebook page is Attention Horse, Comedy for Nerds. And,
okay.
I try to post on there, especially now where we got a little downtime. I need to get on it more. I'm more working towards writing for the shows instead of the electrical attribute. But now that I have no chance to do any shows for a minute, it's the best time to get on that. So.
Okay. All right. So people have to check you out. And social medias, what are your socials? Like, tell us where people find you.
All right. My Facebook is Dusty Cagle, just Dusty Cagle. There might be another one out there, but it's not me. But
and
it's
your
me.
Spell your name.
Cagle.
Okay.
It's like Kegel with a C, if you will. And on Instagram, it's lastknownjin, Jin, all one word.
Okay.
And once I find out the password to my account on there, I'll get on there again one day.
You don't remember? Are you really locked out of Instagram?
yeah, phone falls in fucking water. I can't keep up with my passwords anymore. So now I just have the attention horse
Yeah.
Instagram. So I got that
Oh,
going.
Dusty.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, see, my trick is I just have the same password and it's just password 321 for everything.
That's brilliant. That's so unhackable. If I was a hacker, that's the last thing I would think of. It's
Because
like, it's
everyone expects it to be password 123, but you switch it up 321.
oh, yeah, that's true.
Probably you shouldn't have told everyone that, but
Right. Well, you got to change your password now.
maybe I'll just go back to maybe a lowercase p on password.
Ooh, yeah, that's the thing. I never even think about making it lowercase because it's automatically, uppercase. Jeez. You must have been a hacker, or you watched the movie Hackers a lot.
No, I'm just basic. Well, cool. Well, Dusty, it's been a real pleasure catching up with you. We'll have to have you on a future Beerly Funny show once those take off again. Any last minute words or anything you want to tell everybody?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Lauren, and Beerly Funny for being what you are and existing and all the hard work you put into what you do. You deserve good things. So support Lauren, everybody. And also, remember to love each other. Things are going to get better, and we're all, let the love work. All right, we got this, guys. So thank you again, Lauren.
Thank you so much. And support Dusty Cagle, you guys. Check him out. Check out We Are Attention Horse. And I hope you have a fantastic evening.
You too. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. Bye. All right, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dusty. And now for our final conversation, I'd like to welcome to the Beerly Funny Show episode, Beerly Making It. Please welcome Bo Alambis. Okay, everyone, we are welcoming Bo Alambis. Bo, are you there?
Oh, hello.
What? Bo, is that you, Bo?
Yes, it is. I've been in quarantine for such a long time.
Are you okay, Bo?
Does it look like I'm okay, or does it look like I'm fabulous? Answer it honestly.
You know what? I'm gonna have to join you in looking fabulous. I've been holding on to this for a special occasion. Okay, so you and I can both be fabulous together.
That is terrific.
You
a
look
pink
great.
tiara.
Is that? Oh, you
can
are
never
one
be
in a million.
safe.
Oh my gosh. Is that a stole? Is that like a mink or a fox stole you have?
It is.
Was it just lying around the house?
I just threw it on.
Oh, we've got to get to this interview before this camera time runs out.
All right. Since we're recording from the waist up. Okay.
Okay. Oh, you're a professional, Lauren. You
Carry on.
Bo Alambis. Okay. All right. You are a stand-up comedian. Also, you're a little Bo-like right now. How long? Can't take you seriously.
Yes.
How
Yes,
long
thank
have
you.
you been doing stand-up, Bo?
I started in February of 2019.
Okay, so I love this because you are one of the newer comedians on the scene, but you are just blowing it out of the water. So you, like, beginning to end, how much solid stage-ready material do you have?
The longest set I've done has been about 35 minutes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I've been doing comedy for almost 3 years, and I'm working on a type 5. That's a joke, by the way, but oh my gosh. You've got like one little circle where your vape pen was.
You have to make the circle so you can get the vape.
Now
It
you
burns your lips terribly.
now you live in Fayetteville, is that right? Fayetteville, North Carolina?
I do.
All right. And so besides this getup, how would you describe your comedy style in general on stage?
My comedy style is very dry, and I'll take this off just for you. I don't know how close you're standing to the camera, but
I'm within
if you'll
6 feet.
if you'll just distance yourself.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
So you're
No,
very,
I would say
go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say my style of comedy is pretty dry, and I try to provide a unique perspective to growing up in the South. You know,
Yeah.
a very unique perspective is what I try to bring to it.
Absolutely do. When I was thinking about asking you that question earlier, I couldn't even think of anyone that I've heard of or seen that is similar to you in style. You just have this delivery that's just, it's solid and so funny, especially for someone who is just at or just over a year of performing. And you aren't next to like a whole lot of stage time. So you have made a point to drive very far. Like before, I think you moved to Fayetteville not too long ago, but you used to be super far away. And I remember the first time I saw you was one of Don Garrett and Chris Mon's shows in Charlotte. They're co-producers and also do the Papa Don podcast. But I saw you on stage there, and I could not catch my breath. You were so funny. But that was months ago. So you were like 4 to 6 months in, I think, at that point.
Right, yeah. And that was I think for me, for that stage time, I want to say it was 3.5 hours one way.
Yeah, that's commitment. And that was like 10 minutes, I think 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
That's what we do in comedy, right? We have to drive to the stage. And that's one thing that's so fascinating is like you drive 3 hours, 3+ hours one way for a 10-minute spot or a 15-minute spot. And a lot of times there's zero money in that. You're just doing a experience.
Right. You've got to, if you want to be in this and you want to take it seriously, the driving the distance, the paying for the gas, whatever you have to do, that's just a personal investment like you would invest in any other small business. Mm-hmm. Just you're making those investments in yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And you were doing that. You're putting in the work. Absolutely. I know we've had some conversations in general just about like the business and just things like that. And I can just see the drive in you. And I am very excited to see where Boa Lambus ends up career-wise. Maybe it's on the stage. Maybe it's modeling for a fur company.
No.
Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe Joe Exotic's sixth husband. You know, you never know at this point. You know.
So why did you decide that you wanted to do stand-up?
Honestly, there was, and I know it's cliche, but there's nothing else that I could have done that would have gave me that high that I get from a microphone. Mm-hmm. And I think most people who do this can relate. Like I'm horrified. Like if there's two people in a room and we're in a normal social event or setting, I'm horrified. I can't talk at all. You know, I'm extremely introverted until I get, you know, a house full of people in front of me, and I think Mark Norman said it best, I'm the only one that gets allowed to talk, you know.
I think that's what's so fascinating about comedy too, because I feel like there are a lot more comedians that are like that are more on the shyer side and the more not necessarily shy, but more introverted side, where people would never guess it because you're willing to get up on stage in front of people.
Right.
Whereas people are very scared of that. But the idea of you probably going to a party and having to socialize with people without a stage there probably freaked you out.
Oh God, yeah. The worst thing is, and I love the people who love my comedy, but the worst thing is when you get off stage and people enjoyed your set and they want to talk to you about it, and it's like, hey, you know,
that's part of the job, though. You have to do it.
You know, and they're like, I really enjoyed you. on the stage, and I'm like, I really enjoyed you in the audience.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So can you remember, and would you be willing to share the very first joke you ever told on stage?
The very first joke, I want to say the very first joke I went on stage, and I knew I would have to address it, was my height. And I walked on stage and I said, I went to the doctor this morning. I got terrible news. Almost didn't make it here tonight. Turns out this is as tall as I get. That was my very first joke.
And how is it received?
It was probably awful at the time, but I think I blacked out when I got on stage.
That's why it's so important to record your set, right? Like,
yes,
you're supposed to record your set. You're supposed to watch it back, and you're supposed to listen to it. I hate doing that myself. I'm a terrible example, but
I hate it. I hate it.
But then you go through all these iterations, and then it perfects itself, right?
Right. You build on it little by little. You get the parts that people laugh at, you cut the rest.
So I am so sad about this, but we are running short on recording time because I have the free membership here to record this. But can you please share your socials with everyone?
I will. You can find me facebook.com/bealambus. And be a Lambus. Make sure you don't do Bo a Lambus, because you'll find my dead father's Facebook account. Very unfortunate naming, but
that's awkward. That's awkward.
Yeah, if you send him a friend request, and I'm telling you from experience, it will never get back to you.
What about your Instagram?
My Instagram, I think it is @BoAlambus.
You are terrible at this, Bo. You
have fussed at me so much about my social media.
Well, I have a background in marketing. It's definitely helped me. I'm going to make sure that I get your socials right, and I will put it at the bottom of this so that people can find you. And I think we have one quick question that I want to ask you out of our Beerly Funny tip jar here. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm prepared.
Oh, worst pickup line you've ever used or received. Worst pickup line.
Oh man, it's so hard because I'm such a smooth talker.
Would it be all of them?
No. I would say I had been talking. It's not a pickup line. It's more of a she was loaded up line. And I had been talking to this girl. And I went in for the kiss, and then, Me Too movement, I backed up. I was like, wait, are you drunk? Killed the mood instantly. And she was sober.
So what happened?
Nothing. I eventually did get the kiss. I did eventually get the kiss after about 5 minutes of silence, awkward silence.
Yeah.
I redid it. I went in smoother than before. Way smoother.
That's why it's so important to be able to prepare and stage time to perfect those pickup lines, though.
Yeah, but sometimes you just got to Rambo it. You just guns a blazing. If you get shot down, I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know.
I feel like that's a lie.
I feel like you're right.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you every time I get a chance to. Thank you so much for coming on the Showpisode tonight. Any last minute words or anything you'd like to share with the world?
No, not at all. Y'all just keep your head up and let's all work together. Keep the comedy going. Mm-hmm. We're first responders and everything. Keep it going, but remember, we got to keep the people laughing.
Absolutely. That's why we have mediums like this. So thank you so much for coming on. I love that. And everyone check out Bo with his social media and tell him he needs to work on it, and maybe he'll listen to you. Thank you so much, Bo. Have a great night. I cannot wait to be on stage with you again soon.
Hey, wait.
Bye. Hi, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed our show and that hilarious interview we just had with Bo Alambus. So tonight you heard from Minda Rella, Dusty Cagle, and Bo Alambus. I'm Lauren Ansley. This has been a Beerly Funny production. Please remember to support the craft stand in Lancaster, South Carolina, in the heart of downtown. Also, again, if you'd like to do a virtual tip, please feel free. We'll be accepting those. And thank you so much for your support. Please feel free to share this video if you enjoyed it. Follow Beerly Funny on social media, Beerly Funny on Facebook and Instagram. And I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.